Hi folks, it's another Taylor's Eyewitness knife. This is another very traditional Sheffield pattern, the Lambsfoot. I think Americans would probably call it a swayback. They would expect to perhaps see more of a pointy Warncliffe style blade on their swayback, but in Sheffield it's the Lambsfoot. And from late in the 19th, or way back in the later part of the 19th century, right through the 20th century, a lot of these knives had the words "the real lamb's foot" stamped into the blade. Now, I've never really got to the bottom of why that's so common, whether it is to do with individual knife makers, little mesters, working in their little workshops attached to their homes or in their homes, whether or not they may perhaps bought in blades that were stamped, because forging blades required then a proper charcoal or coal forge. You couldn't just rig up a butane torch into a little forge to heat your metal and stamp it out and heat treat it and so forth. So it may be that they just bought in blades and then fitted them to handles. I don't know that. That's merely a supposition by the fact that these blades so commonly looked the same and have the same font and everything else, and yet they come in different handles with different tang stamps made by different little mester makers, rather than necessarily all coming out of one of the larger factories like Rogers or Wolstenholme or whatever. If you know better, please tell me, because I'm genuinely interested to know. I study the history of Sheffield knife makers. I read everything that I can find, but I've just never come across an answer to that. Anyway, this one doesn't have the real Lambsfoot written on it, but it does have a real Lambsfoot blade. And it does have this swayback shaped handle. But I have to say, what really drew me to this particular piece wasn't so much the Lambsfoot blade, although, Lambsfoot blades are very useful. It's a useful, non-threatening, relatively safe. It's not unpointy. I suppose one could sort of stab with it, but it's not a dagger or anything like that. It's a work knife. It looks like a work knife, rather than anything else. But it's what really drew me to this one was this beautiful bit of ram's horn with those red flecks in it. I suppose the vegetarians and vegans out there are probably turning themselves inside out looking at that and saying that's really horrible, but I like it. Nice patterning in the back as well. Again, when I chose this one, it was from the Bakewell Cookhouse. There were two to choose from. I chose this one. The other one, there was nothing wrong with it. I could have equally chosen the other one, but I just particularly like these red striations in the blade. As I've said before, these blades are all hand ground, so they never you never get two that are absolutely identical. This one is particularly nice. It's got quite a straight edge to it. There's a little bit of almost a recurve back just here, but very nice and very sharp, and as I say, hand ground, so no two that exactly the same. You've got this lovely file work on it that goes right up the knife, right into the handle, and right round at the other end as well for completeness. I love ram's horn as a material. It's quite possibly my favourite handle material because of its translucence. You can see right through it. It's almost like amber. It's like yellow amber. Very, very nice. Now these swayback knives have steel liners rather than brass liners. Now, I don't know the answer as to why that is, but I suspect it's because these are supposed to be tougher, work knives rather than pretty knives. Whether the ram's horn adds or subtracts from that, I'm not quite sure, but it's a good tough knife with a solid bolster. The bolsters are soldered onto the steel liners. And steel spring, and they're just really nice knives. And I quite often carry one of these. I haven't carried this one at all, just because I just haven't had the opportunity to carry it yet. But this Amboina one here, I've carried a lot. I use it a lot for cutting up my apple in the morning. It's just a nice knife for doing that sort of thing with, and I could see myself doing exactly the same with this one. They are fingerprint magnets, as you'll see, but I think also, oops, knock the camera for 6. They are they're stainless steel, so they don't pick up a patina, which I like. I like them to stay shiny, so even if I cut my apple with them, I don't have any worries about losing the shine. So I'm very happy with that. So, don't know, I've got an awful lot more to say about that one. It's the same size as all the others, so size comparisons are a little bit irrelevant. But, if you want to compare it to a Barlow, you're pretty much bang on the same size. So there we are. If you like this stuff, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of it, click the subscribe button. Remember to ring the bell, or you'll not get notifications of new videos coming up. Okay, thank you very much.